majestic, flat Earth of ours?
Yes, Congressman, this Earth is certainly majestic.
And flat.
But do you think the Earth is round or flat?
Round.
Round?
Yeah.
It's obvious, right? No question?
No question at all.
Okay, so how can you prove that to me right now?
I can't right now. I don't know how I prove it to you right now. Do you want me to pull out my phone and show you stuff on the internet? Because that's what I can do. That's what I can do. That's what I can do.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
It could be a game changer for the next generation of astronauts set to return to the moon in just 4 years. NASA says it found water molecules on a sunlit area of the lunar surface, right there in Clavius Crater. Scientists had already discovered ice at the polar caps, but water spread across the rest of the moon would make it much easier for astronauts to live and work there.
If you don't have to carry your own water, that makes it a lot easier because then you can carry other things. So using what's there at the moon is a really good strategy for us moving forward.
70, turning right to 100.
Researchers made the discovery using a 9-foot infrared telescope flying in a 747 above most of the Earth's atmosphere. A few years ago, we were on board for an exclusive first-hand look. The telescope is riding on a cushion of air with 24 of these black air bladders literally absorbing all the vibration from the plane. That allows the telescope to lock on a distant star as if it were locking on a quarter with pinpoint accuracy. In this case, scientists used the telescope to zero in on the moon. While the discovery is important, they did not find a lot of water, the equivalent of a 12-ounce bottle within about 35 cubic feet of lunar soil. They believe the molecules come from solar wind or micrometeorites that bombard the lunar surface.
The lunar environment is very, very harsh. And so for water to exist on the moon is a pretty spectacular finding, but for life to exist, it would be extremely difficult.
NASA astronauts last stood on the moon in 1972.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston.
Now set to return in 2024, more than 50 years later. Could there be more water under the soil? Is there enough for humans? And how easily can it be extracted?
The moon is great at teasing us. It's right there in the night sky. It's almost like we could just hop right over there, but it's difficult.
Difficult and full of mystery.
That wasn't done by no Game Boy technology that they went up into space to the moon in 1969 to 1972. Game Boy technology.
In today's terminology, how powerful would you say it was?
Well, it was not as good as a laptop, but it was probably a little better than a handheld. It actually had, I mean, some of you that are computer nerds,
he's a pilot. He's not a nerd.
You know, you got to have gigs and that kind of stuff. And we didn't have gigs or even megs. The Apollo computer had 32K of fixed memory and 2K of erasable. That was it. No screen, no sound, no icons, no nothing. Just and the keyboard just had it had 0 through 10, read, clear, and enter. I think it might have been 1 or 2 more keys. We had no graphics, no screen, no. On its best days, it couldn't get to 1 megahertz. So it was slow and weak, but it got its there.
Hey, baby. Hey, back. Yeah.
You know, every sight in space is spectacular. I mean, you just can never look out the window without being amazed at what you see. And I hope that technology will allow more and more people to go and see those sites and see our planet. It's a beautiful place, particularly when you see it from a distance. It's a magnificent sight. But the most beautiful sight, as we were approaching the moon, and I'd say maybe we're 5,000 to 7,000 miles out, pretty close, we flew into the moon's shadow, which means that from our point of view, the moon was eclipsing the sun. So we would see the dark gray moon, and behind it the corona of the sun coming out all around it. The moon was eclipsing the sun. So we would see the dark gray moon, and behind it the corona of the sun coming out all around. It was a lovely sight. And now we were close enough that the moon wasn't a disk as we see it from here on Earth. It looks pretty flat to us.
But in size, the two are equal. And after this law, I saw another law for the lesser light named the moon. And its disk is like the disk of the sun, and the wind.
And now we were close enough that the moon wasn't a disk as we see it from here on Earth. It looks pretty flat to us from here. But it was clearly three-dimensional, a ball, and it was covered with ridges and craters and valleys and hills and all manner of, and that was decidedly, it was in the dark, but it was being illuminated by the light of Earth. As we were approaching the moon, and I'd say maybe we're 5,000 to 7,000 miles out, but it was clearly three-dimensional, a ball, and it was covered with ridges and craters and valleys and hills and all manner of, and that was decidedly, it was in the dark, but it was being illuminated by the light of Earth. Now, because Earth is, as you know, 16 times bigger in area than the moon, and it's also more reflective. So consequently, it's substantial. Earthlight is substantially brighter than moonlight at the same distance. And because of the oceans, that light is decidedly blue. Light is blue. So we were looking at this three-dimensional ball with all these valleys and ridges and craters and things. We're falling. It was illuminated by blue Earth light, and we were flying toward it faster and falling faster and getting closer and getting faster. I thought it was the most beautiful sight I'd ever seen.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Wow. Thanks, Neil, for nothing or telling the truth. Listen, what's up, good people? I'm saying, hey, I ain't mean to come back so fast with this video, but this popped up. So we all know about, the waters above and the waters below. So, and we know that the moon and the sun are lights, and it is unlandable. And the waves up there prove it. You just saw it. But not only with Australia, but water is sticking to the bottom of the moon without gravity. You don't have to go to Harvard for this, or Yale, to know that. Everything that they taught us, it seems to just not matter anymore. And people are just simply adapting to it. And that is okay. Trust me, that's okay. Do what your brain tells you to do. But I make my content based on real things. And not things that are constantly changing, like selective gravity wants to hold whatever it wants to hold or don't want to hold. gnats or flies or bees with big bodies and tiny thin wings down to the earth, but wants to hold the oceans. That's just me. Why y'all hating? Why do y'all care to even correct me? I must, hey, listen. So, like in the movie Away, fire does not exist in a vacuum or without air. I think a fireman can tell you that. That's why they tell you to shut the doors in the house. And some places have doors that automatically shut to take out the air away from the fire. Why doesn't that happen in space? Come on now.
All the vibration from the plane that allows the telescope to lock on a distant star as if it were locking on a quarter with pinpoint accuracy.
Now take what he just said. This is just very simple. A child can understand this. Take what he just said, that telescope that they call Sophia, which is really Hubble, but I think Hubble is out there looking all plastic and fake. Take that, it can lock on a distant star like locking on a quarter, but yet you show us CGI right after a real video of the moon. They just showed you the moon after he said it locks on a quarter. They showed you the moon, then they switched to CGI. That is my issue. That's my issue. It may not be yours, but hey. That's all I got for this, man. I'm sure I had other stuff to say about this, but yeah. I got something else too. That damn asteroid. I'm just wondering, are there any posts or comments that Globers have ever asked NASA to, instead of recreating on a computer, can you show us believers the real video before you send it in to CGI? NASA Master, please, can you show us the real unedited video of whatever y'all saw in space before you made it a cartoon? Please copy and paste that to my comment section instead of what y'all think. I need to see if a believer of this garbage ever asks that question, and that will help me further continue to make these videos of what y'all believe in. All right, thank you.
In December 2018, after traveling for 2 years, 101 days, and over 1.2 billion miles, NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft arrived at its target, near-Earth asteroid Bennu. OSIRIS-REx is the first mission to explore this primitive remnant from the origins of the solar system, designed to study the asteroid and return a sample to Earth. Bennu is a dark, diminutive world, roughly the height of a skyscraper, and now the smallest body to be orbited by a spacecraft. Prior to arrival, it was known to have low thermal inertia, a characteristic of fine-grained materials like sand. An infrared spectrometer on OSIRIS-REx confirmed this property, leading scientists to expect a predominantly smooth surface. But the first close-up views of Bennu delivered a major surprise. In exquisite detail, the mission's cameras revealed an unrelenting rockscape dominated by boulders. By combining these images from OSIRIS-REx with its laser altimetry data, we can take a tour of Bennu's remarkable terrain. The first stop is Simurgh Saxum. This prominent boulder defines the asteroid's prime meridian and serves as the basis of its coordinate system. In Persian mythology, the Simurgh is a large and benevolent bird and the possessor of all knowledge, Saxum is Latin for stone. To the northeast lies the largest boulder on Bennu. Measuring over 300 feet in length, Rock Saxum is a colossus longer than a football field. It is also rich in a type of iron oxide called magnetite, which was used by mariners as an early form of magnetic compass. In Arab folklore, the rock is an enormous bird of prey that can clasp elephants in its talons, as well as stranded sailors like the hero Sinbad. Continuing northeast over the equatorial ridge, we arrive at Gargoyle Saxum. This striking boulder is among the darkest on Bennu, though it clutches a much brighter rock that is about the size of a person. In medieval legend, gargoyles are dragon-like, winged monsters that can breathe fire and that guard cathedrals from evil spirits. Our next destination takes us far to the east. At the northern end of a small crater lies Ocypete Saxum, a comparatively bright boulder measuring about 33 feet in diameter. Ocypete Saxum is located near one of 3 sites where Bennu ejected small particles into space in early 2019, displaying its dynamic and evolving nature. In Greek mythology, Ocypete is one of the 3 harpies, the half-maiden, half-bird personifications of storm winds, who would carry evildoers away from the earth. In the creation stories of ancient Egypt, the universe began as a formless, endless expanse of water. From this primordial sea arose the primordial mound, Benben. It was upon this rock that the god Atum settled in the form of the Bennu bird and sent forth the call that shaped creation. The story of Benben harkens to the mounds of fertile silt that once emerged from the receding floodwaters of the Nile, and it provides a fitting namesake for the tallest boulder on Bennu. Protruding by over 70 feet, Benben Saxum is so tall that it was first detected from Earth. Now, we can appreciate this monumental feature in detail using data from OSIRIS-REx. The final stop on our tour is a cluster of exceptionally bright boulders scattered across the southern hemisphere. They bear the spectral fingerprint of pyroxene, a mineral found in igneous rock that is unlikely to have formed on Bennu. These boulders most likely originated on the large asteroid Vesta and were delivered to Bennu's parent body through meteoroid impacts. Although it is small in size, asteroid Bennu has proved to be a fascinating world, abundant in geographic features that have defied our expectations. Thanks to OSIRIS-REx, we can now explore Bennu to uncover its composition, its evolution, and its ancient memories from the origins of the solar system.
That's all, folks.
Stay flat.